Now, the divisibility rules. If you want to learn about how to find whether a number is divisible by 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, or 100, there are very easy and simple rules that you will need to know to be able to determine whether a number is divisible by any of them or not. Well, first, what does it mean that 56 is divisible by 2, for example? It means that 56 can be divided by 2 without having a remainder. It also means that 56 is a multiple of 2, and that 2 is one of 56's factors. So, how can we find, or how can we know if a number is divisible by 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, or 100? There is a very easy and simple rule for 2. You just need to study these things, guys. You just need to memorize them, to study them, understand them very well. To know whether a number is divisible by 2 or not, you just need to know that any even number in the world is divisible by 2. And even numbers are numbers that end with 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. Okay. To know whether a number is divisible by 3 or not, just add up all the digits of that number. If the sum is a multiple of 3, then that number is divisible by 3. How? For example, 57. We're going to add them up. 5 plus 7 is 12. Yes, 12 is a multiple of 3. Then 57 is divisible by 3. 102, 102. 1 plus 0 is just 1, plus 2 is 3. And 3, of course, is a multiple of 3. Then 102 is divisible by 3. Remember, this is only for the 3 divisibility rule. 87, just add them up. 8 and 7 is 15. 15 is a multiple of 3. Then 87 is divisible by 3. Here, 4. If the last 2 digits are divisible by 4, it just means that the whole number is divisible by 4. Okay, so you mean, Mr. Here, 428, I'm just going to ignore the first number? Yes, just ignore it and look at 28. Okay, 28 is divisible by 4? Yes. It is actually a multiple of 4, 4 times 7. So 428 is also divisible by 4. What about 412? Well, 12, the last 2 digits, here, yes, 12 is divisible by 4. It's a multiple of 4, so 512 is also divisible by 4. Here, 582, oh my God, how can I know, mister, if 82 is a multiple of 4 or not? How can I know if it's divisible by 4 or not very quickly? Well, you need to divide it by 4. If you can divide it by 4 without having a remainder, then it is divisible by 4. Oh, mister, isn't it a faster way? Yes, there is a faster way. You can just divide the last 2 digits twice by 2. If you can divide it by 2, and then you divide it by 2 again, which makes 4, that's why we said twice, you divide it by 2, and then if you can divide it again by 2, that means that it is divisible by 4. Let's try this here. I have here 82, 582. 82, let's try this. 82 divided by 2 is 41, the half exactly. Can I divide 41 by 2 again? No, we can't. So 582 is not divisible by 4. You cannot divide it by 4 without having a remainder. 147, well, just without even trying to divide the 47 twice by 2, and then you divide again by 2, you divide it twice by 2? No, it's impossible. Why? Because it's an odd number. You cannot divide an odd number by 2. Not once, not twice. So this is definitely not divisible by 4. What about 78? 78, can you divide it by 4? Well, let's try to divide it here by 2 twice. 78 divided by 2 is going to give us exactly the half of 78, which is 39. Well, I cannot divide 39 again by 2, so it is not divisible by 4. Of course, this is going to be really hard if you do not know your times tables, if you do not know how to get the half of a number, which means dividing it by 2 easily. What about the 5? It says here, any number in the world that ends in either 0 or 5 is just divisible by 5. Like just 15 is divisible by 5, 205 is divisible by 5, 300 ends in 0, it's divisible by 5. Here, 10, any number that ends in 0, like 10, like 20, like 50, like 120, any number that ends in 0 is divisible by 10. Here, 100, any number that ends in 2 zeros is just divisible by 100. So if you say 1400, yeah, of course this is divisible by 100. But if I say 140, no, it is not divisible by 100 because it ends with only 1 zero. All right, that takes us to the next part, which is put a tick under the right column. 336, is it divisible by 2? Well, is it an even number? You need now to remember the rules. Any even number in the world is divisible by 2. Is 336 an even number? Yes, mister, it's an even number. It ends with a 6. Then, yes, it is divisible by 2. All right, is it divisible by 3? We need to add them up. Do you remember the rule? Add the 3 of them up. 3 plus 3 is 6. Plus 3 is 6 is 12. And 12 is a multiple of 3. Then yes, 336 is divisible by 3. Okay, is 336 divisible by 4? Well, you need to look at the last 2 digits. 36, is it one of the multiples of 4? Can 36 be divided by 4? Yes, it's 4 times 9. If you don't know your 4 times table very well, which is not going to be good at all, you can just divide 36 2 times by 2. Can you divide it by 2 times? Let's check. 36 divided by 2 is 18. You divide it again by 2. Yes, we can. It's 9. Then it is divisible by 4. Is it divisible by 5? Does it end with a 5 or a 0? No. Is it divisible by 10? Does it end with a 0? No. Is it divisible by 100? Does it end with 2 zeros? No. The last number here is 560 divisible by 2? If it's an even number, yes, it is. So yes, it is divisible by 2. All right, what about 3? You need to add them up. 5 plus 6 is 11, plus 0 is 11. 11 is not the 3 times table. It's not a multiple of 3. So sorry, it is not divisible by 3. I'm not going to put anything over here. Okay, is it divisible by 4? Let's check. The last 2 numbers here, the last 2 digits are just 60. Let's divide 60 twice by 2. If we can divide it twice, then yes, it is divisible by 4. 60 divided by 2 is 30. 30 divided by 2, yes, I can. It's 15. And yes, 560 is divisible by 4. Is it divisible by 5? Ends with a 0. Yes, divisible by 5. Is it divisible by 10? Ends with a 0? Yes, divisible by 10. Is it divisible by 100? Ends with 2 zeros? No. So there is nothing. I'm not going to put a tick over here. Okay. Here, to write all the numbers that are between 60 and 90 and divisible by both 4 and 5. Well, to do this, we need to find the numbers that are divisible by 5, and we take the number that is bigger first. The number that is bigger first. Like here, the 5. In this case, the number that is bigger is the 5. We're going to take it. Get all the multiples Um, sorry, yes, the multiples of 5 between 60 and 90, and check whether they are divisible by 4 or not. All right, so between 60 and 90, we have 65. Is it divisible by 4? 65 is an odd number. No way. Okay, 70. 70, is it divisible by 4? Let's try to divide it 2 times by 2. 70 divided by 2 is 30. 35. 35 divided by 2. No, I can't. 70 is not there with us. It's not divisible by 4. It's divisible by 5, but not by 4. What about 75 then? 75 is divisible by 5, but not divisible by 4. It's an odd number. No way. All right. 80 is divisible by 5, of course. But is it divisible by 4? Yes. 80 divided by 4 is 20. I can divide it 2 times by 2. 80 divided by 2 is 40. Divided by 2 is 20. So 80 is the first number that we have here. 85, no. 90 divided by 5, yes, it's divisible by 5. But is it divisible by 4? Let's try to divide it twice by 2. To see, 90 divided by 2 is 45. Divided by 2 again? No way, we can't. So 80 is the only number that is between 60 and 90 and divisible by both 4 and 5. Okay. The next question, write all the numbers that are between 70 and 150 and divisible by both 2 and 10. Well, then I need to take not all the multiples that are divisible by 2 first. No, go for the bigger number here. The bigger is 10. Then I'm going to check all the multiples of 10 between 70 and 150, which are 80. And yes, of course, it's divisible by 2. 90, and yes, of course, it's divisible by 2. You're going to find all the multiples of 10 are divisible by 2. So yes, 120, 130, and 140. We cannot put 150 or 70 because they said between them, not including them. Okay. What if someone else just decided to take it to count by 2s? First, it's going to take so long. Of course, it's going to take forever because you chose the smallest number here, which is choosing the 2. And if you try, you're going to find 72. Well, it's divisible by 2, but not divisible by 10. Then you can't try it. At 74, you can't. 76, you can't. It's going to take forever until you reach 150. That's why we always choose that we go for the multiples of the number that is bigger. Here we went for the multiples of 5 between 60 and 90, and we checked whether they are divisible by 4 or not. And here we went for the multiples of 10 between 70 and 150, and we checked whether they are divisible by 2 or not. Now with how to get a fraction of a number. To get a fraction of a number, like here, for example, 74/6 of 78 is what? We took it many times in class. You just divide 78 by the denominator, which is 6, and then you multiply it by the numerator, which is 4. 78 divided by 6, if you can do it mentally, congratulations, it's 13, yes. If you cannot do it mentally, then you just have to do the long division this way. And we took how to do long division. So 78 divided by 6 is going to give you exactly 13. You multiply it by 4 gives you 52. So 13 multiplied by 4 will give you 52. The same thing exactly here. 5/60 of 240 is what? You take 240 divided by 60. Well, you need to cross the zeros first. That is going to make it much easier when you divide. That is going to be 24 divided by 6 is 4. And then you multiply by 5 gives you 20. Okay, if you have shapes like these shapes here, and you want to get a fraction of that shape, you need to count the numbers that you have that inside that shape. So for example, here we have equilateral triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 triangles. 2/3 of 9. This is exactly what it means. 2/3 of 9. So 9 divided by 3 is just 3. You multiply by 2 gives you 6. That's it. 2/3 of 9 equals 9 divided by 3 is 3. You multiply by 2 gives you 6. And here, 1/3 of 9 of the triangles is just so here. 1/3 of 9 gives you 9 divided by 3. You divide 9 by the denominator, then you multiply it by the numerator. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. You multiply by 1 is just 3. So we have 3. Sorry, this is a mistake. It's not a 6, it is 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. You multiply by 1 is just 3. Okay, in the squares here, please, I don't want you to keep counting them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the 9, 10, 11, 12. Why are you wasting your time? The checkpoint is not going to wait for you. You have only 45 minutes to answer all the questions. So just count them here. Count here horizontally. We found that they are 8. Vertically, you found that they are 4. 4 times 8. If you know your times tables, of course, it will be very easy. It's 32. We have 32 squares. 3/4. Here, this is what they want. Shape 3/4 of the shape. How many parts? Then here you find that 3/4 of 32 squares is going to give you 32 divided by 4. You know your times table, it's going to give you 8. You multiply 8 by 3 is going to give you 24. Here, 4/8 of the shape. How many parts? If you notice that 4/8 is just a half, congratulations, you've just made it even easier. If you didn't, no problem at all. Just find 4/8 of 32. You're going to find 32 divided by 8 is just 4. You multiply by 4 again, gives you 16. Comparing and ordering fractions. To compare or to order fractions, here we order from largest to smallest. If the fractions have the same denominators exactly, like here 6, 6, 6, that is very easy. Oh, what about the 1 here, Mr. Ahmed? Just 1 is actually any number over itself. So if you make the 1, 5/5 is going to be correct, 6/6 is going to be correct, 10/10 is going to be correct. It's just the same as 1. So here I'm just going to make it 6/6 because the rest of them are just over 6. So here is 6/6. You put them in order. Let's do this. The largest one is what? Exactly. The largest one is 6/6, which is 1. We agree that the 1 can be any number over itself. And it's a whole number. All of them are less than a whole number. Okay. Then, what is the one that is after it? Of course, the 5/6 is greater than both of them. And here, of course, 4/6 is greater than 2/6. And the last one, 2/6, is greater than 4/6. Sorry, is the smallest. All right, here. What about these 4 fractions? If we need to put them in order from now smallest to largest, well, but what makes it hard is that I cannot compare it this way. You cannot arrange them this way. If they have different denominators, you need all of them to have the same denominators exactly. All right, let's look at the biggest denominator. Which one is the biggest in the 3 of them? I have here 10, I have 5, 5, 2. Yes, the biggest one is 10. Can we make the others also a 10? Can I make the 5 a 10? Yes, we will need to do what? Don't use addition, please. We can use only multiplication or division. So yes, we can make the 5 a 10 by multiplying it by 2. And also I can make the other 5 a 10 by multiplying it by 2. And I can make the 2 a 10 by multiplying it by 5. And whatever happens to the denominator must happen to the numerator. What does that mean? It means that 4 over 10 will stay the same. We need the denominator to be a 10, so it stays the same. We need the denominator to be a 10, no problem at all. Just change the 5 and make it a 10. No problem with this. Done. And we need also the 5 to change and become a 10. No problem, just do it. Done. And we need also the 2 to become a 10. No problem, also just do it. That's if we can. Yes. All right, what happened to the 5 to become a 10? I multiply the 5 by 2 to become a 10. Then I need to multiply the 1 also by 2 to become 2 over 10. And I multiply the 5 here by 2 to become a 10. Then I need to multiply the 4 also by 2 to become an 8. And I multiplied the 2 here by 5 to become a 10, then I need to multiply the 1 by 5 to become 5 over 10. Then here we have 4 fractions with the same denominator exactly. Change the fractions, change the denominators, not only the denominators, but the numerators as well must be changed. If you just think about touching the denominator, then you must do the same thing to the numerator. Now we can arrange them. How? Put them from smallest to largest. Smallest one here is 2 over 10. Oh, mister, am I going to take 2 over 10 there? No way. Don't even think of doing this. Go back to the original fraction, which is what? Which is 1 over 5 that you're going to take and put it here. This is the smallest one. All right, okay. Then 2 over 10 after it is what? What's larger? What's larger is 4 over 10. Am I going to take 4 over 10 from here? Well, it's the same, so it doesn't matter. All right, then here we have which one is greater? 5 over 10, not 8 over 10. 8 over 10 is the largest. 5 over 10. Am I going to take 5 over 10 there? Wrong. No way, no way. Don't. Just go back to the half and put it there. All right, and the largest number is 8 over 10, but actually I'm not going to take 8 over 10. I'm not going to make the same mistake. I'm just going to take 4 over 5, which is 4/5. Okay, the same thing that we did here, that we did in question number 2, we're going to do it here as well. But it's very easy here just to determine which number is the largest. Here we have a fraction of a number, just a piece of a number, a piece of a whole, not even a complete whole number. The second one also is a piece. The last one also is a piece. It's not just a complete one. It's not a complete pizza, for example. But here I have 1 pizza and a half. This is the largest number. Just take it and put it there and get rid of it. Just don't worry about it. All right, okay, great. But what about the other 3 fractions, Mr. Ahmed? How are we going to arrange them? Well, now we need to think about the common denominator, because as you see, what we did here was because not all the fractions have the same denominator. We must have, to be able to order them, you must have the 4 fractions with the same denominator exactly. Then I need the 3 of them or the 4 of them to have the same denominator exactly. Then now we need to see the largest denominator that we have. Which one is the largest denominator? Yes, 6 is the largest denominator. Then let's check. It might happen, might not happen. Let's check. Can I make the 2 a 6? Yes, you can, by multiplying it by 3. Can I make the 2 here also 6? Yeah, it's the same, just multiply by 3. Can I make the 3 a 6? Yes. So very good. I'm going to make just all the denominators 6. Here I'm going to make this denominator 6. this denominator is already a 6. And here the denominator is going to be also a 6. Come on. All right, and here the last fraction is just the denominator also, we're going to change it and make it a 6. Great. But what happened to the 2 to become a 6? Yeah, don't forget, whatever happens to the denominator, you must do it to the numerator. So the 2, I changed it and I made it 6 by multiplying it by 3. Then you multiply the 1 also by 3 to make it 3 over 6. And here the 6, I just multiplied by 1. I actually didn't change anything in it, so just multiply the 5 by 1, don't change anything in it, so 5 over 6. Here the 1.5, the 1 stays the same, but here what happened to the 2 to become a 6? I multiplied it by 3. Then multiply the 1 also by 3 to become 3 over 6, but there is a 1/2 here. Here 2/3, I changed the 3 to become a 6 by multiplying it by 2. Then multiply also the 2 by 2 to become 4 over 6. Now let's arrange them. 1.5, and here we found that 1.5 is the greatest and we agreed on that, so we put it there, so we don't need to worry about it. So now you can just forget about this number as if you don't have it. We just put it there as the largest. Now the 3 other fractions, which one of them is the smallest? 3, 5, 4, of course this is the smallest, but just we're gonna take it from there. We're not gonna take 3 over 6, it's half. Just take it there from there and put it here. And here, what about 5 over 6 or 4 over 6? Of course, it's 4 over 6, so that is a little bit larger. So we're going to take 2/3. We're not going to take 4 over 6. So it's 2/3 here that comes next. And here, the largest number of the 3 fractions is 5 over 6, which is here the same 5 over 6. So we're going to put it here, and as we agreed from the beginning, before even starting to answer the question, we agreed that 1.5 is the largest fraction. Actually, it's not a fraction, it's a mixed number. Okay, great. Here to the last part of the question of this section, which is comparing fractions. Well, just comparing is very easy because all what you need to do here is just take this denominator very fast. I'm going to teach you a technique that is going to help you a lot. Just very quickly, you will be able to compare. Just multiply this denominator by the other numerator and this denominator by the other numerator very quickly. 4 by 4 is just 16. And here, 8 by 3 is just 24. Which number is greater? Of course, 24. So congratulations, that answers it. Oh, I put the numbers there. I didn't have to write them. So here, 16, and here's 24. All right, here. What did you do? If I want to compare these two fractions, no problem at all. Just to take this denominator multiplied by this numerator. 5 multiplied by 3 is going to give you 15 exactly. 7 multiplied by 4 is going to give you 28 exactly. Of course, if 28 is greater than 15. All right, the last one over here, you take 42 and multiply by 1 is going to give you exactly 42. You take the 7, the denominator, multiply by the 6 gives you also 42. Then yes, 42 and 42, both of them are the same, so they are equal.